On today's which word, let's call it a which word, word of the day, Heyoka! Heyoka is an indigenous Lakota word meaning fool or sacred clown because of their ability to create healing from humor. Heyokas are the most powerful types of empaths that open people's minds to new perspectives by acting as a mirror and poking satirical fun at the situation. Making light of serious circumstances allows people to see themselves in a different way and begin to heal rather than be stuck in a wallowing point of view. Do not be mistaken. Heyokas do not ridicule or harm with their humor. They are still empaths, and their perception of people's emotions doesn't let them cross the line into being offensive. Rather, they disrupt lines of thinking that are not beneficial. And I need to start paying attention when people say, "Hey, Shawn," because I wonder if they've been saying "Heyoka, Shawn," and calling me a Heyoka.
Yeah.
I love that. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't know either.
See,
but I found
Words
it.
of the Witches, educational. You found it in your
God,
email.
that's so cool.
It definitely wasn't assigned to me.
I wonder why we chose that today.
I wonder why too.
You haven't even read that?
Wait, what are you doing with the book?
So he has the confidence to finish the story.
Hear now the words of the witches.
Can you hear the words of the witches? Yeah, the words of the witches.
Welcome to Words of the Witches, the Charmed podcast that will guide you through the lesser-known published lore of the Charmed universe.
In this night and in this hour, we call upon our fanboy power, bringing education and stupefaction to all of you.
Together, we will use our knowledge and reverence abundantly, but also find ourselves sassy and delightful.
Which is why we will truly be charmed.
All right, so hello, spell worders. This is Words of the Witches, episode 132. I'm Kevin, your resident charmed resource.
And I'm Shawn, and I'm a self-proclaimed Heyoka.
And Nugent is here. Oh my gosh.
I'm here. I'm back. So happy to be back. So excited, especially for season 6, because I have a special love and a lot of thoughts on season 6.
Yes, you're going to have to win me over.
Yes. Not many of us, I don't think.
Right.
So, yeah, Nugent's been doing lots of crazy cool things. You touched the ruby slippers. Oh my goodness, gracious.
I got to hold the real ruby slippers, the ones that just sold for $32 million. Me and my partner at work, Anthony, we got to go to the Heritage Auction House and have a half hour to 45 minutes with a private viewing of the shoes, hold them in gloves, of course. And it was one of the most I'm still thinking about it. It's like I held the ruby slippers like that Judy Garland wore.
Yeah.
Like what?
Her
So
name
cool.
was in them and everything.
everything.
What could you tell us that we don't
Yeah.
know about them? Like, what was crazy about them?
So what's interesting is that just because the way iPhone camera works, it kind of distorts photos. So the shoes look way bigger in photos than they actually are. Like shoes a size 5, they're small. They're not big. And these were the pair that were recovered by the FBI. I think it was last year. Because a mobster stole them from the Judy Garland Museum. Because the story goes that he thought they were made of real rubies, and when he realized they weren't, he was gonna try, real ruby, and he was gonna try and like hand them in for like the reward money, like, oh look, I found these, but for whatever the reason, he didn't, and somebody tipped off the FBI that he had them. He sold them in 2005, and they recovered them last year, and they were beautiful. They were in really, really good condition for everything they've been through.
That's so cool.
Wow,
So cool.
yeah.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Because I'm trying. How many pairs did she have on the movie? I don't remember.
I think there were 6 or 7 pairs, but only 4
Okay.
are in existence still. So one is in the Smithsonian.
Smithsonian,
The other pair,
right.
the other pair is in the Academy Museum in LA. On the third pair, a private owner. They were sold to a private owner, and we don't know who bought this pair yet. So for $32 million, though, I would have to say it might be a celebrity because, like, who has that money? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, right. So
So
I was gonna
it's
wonder.
cool,
I was like, I couldn't see who bought them. All I heard was that the total. So no wonder it's a secret. Okay.
Yeah, it was no prop in Hollywood history or costume or anything has sold for this much. So it broke records. Like nothing. I think they had said, obviously prior to the auction, that it was Marilyn Monroe's dress, the white dress, that famous dress. That was the most expensive item that's ever been sold. I think for like $6 million. And they were like, we're hoping these shoes go for like $7 million to top it. Nobody was expecting $32 million.
Insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found your picture
So-
on Insta. I Insta stalked you. You're right. They do look bigger than size 5.
They look
Right.
bigger than size 5. They look. Really
I'm like, I
big.
could wear those.
Yeah, no, they're small. They're really small. It was very cool.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, I recently revealed my Oz craziness to the listeners because I don't always make it known, but it's there.
Free.
I sent you a picture of me opening my 2-year-old like 50th anniversary VHS. I was like, look at me at 2.
Oh yeah. Like when I was a kid, like if younger me knew that I would hold the ruby slippers one day, he would have been off the
my
wall.
gosh.
Like,
Yeah.
what's that?
Yeah. But we're not here to talk about Wizard of Oz. We're here to talk about Charmed. Oh my goodness gracious. We're going to talk season 6 today
Yes.
based off the
finally.
context of this book.
Love
so
it.
It's this book, but it's really just talking about the season and this book.
Of course.
But we had a poll last week, Sean. Do you remember what the poll was?
Which sister's arc in season 5 did you like the best? And I don't remember the
Very
choices.
good.
I can't remember the sisters.
Yeah, well, Nugent, what would be your response to that question?
I would have to say it would be between Paige and Piper. I would say probably Piper though, just because she's given birth to Wyatt, and that was such like a through line for the rest of the show. So I would, and it added a lot of lore with the Twice Blessed and all that. So I would say Piper's.
That's what
Okay.
we said.
Before, we said Piper too. All of us were 3 for 3 last week with Piper.
Yeah.
I did get a write-in response by J3 Lion James. He says, Paige becoming the strongest witch of the 3 and standing strong and independent was the best. Piper becoming a mother was very one-note, and Phoebe didn't have an arc. She was just insufferable.
Oh, poor Phoebe.
Poor Phoebe. Poor Phoebe. Dating
All right,
was
so-
her arc. Dating was
I
her
know.
arc.
I know. I'm a
Finding
mermaid.
a man.
I love cold, but not really. Oh my god.
Yeah, finding a man was her arc.
Jason, I love you.
Yeah.
Right now. For
So
now.
many boyfriends that season. So many boyfriends.
Hey, if you look like Phoebe, get it.
Right, yeah.
But let's go over the results. The sister with the least amount of votes was Phoebe, 41 votes at 19%. Then we had Paige, 53 votes at 25%, and Piper, 122 votes, 56%.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was, a landslide.
Piper's the way to go for season 5.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into this book, Triquetra, the Unofficial and Unauthorized Guide to Charmed, Season 6.
Do it.
First, let me hear your general feelings about Season 6. Who wants to go first?
Sean, you can go first. It's your podcast. I'm a guest.
All right. So I'm in the unpopular opinion camp with Buffy and Charmed because in both series, I like season 6 the best. For Charmed, as I was looking over the episodes, I think I kind of figured out why this season spoke to me more than others. Because I feel like with Wyatt being the ultimate good or evil, and with Chris trying to stop him from being evil, it made more of a thorough line for season 6 than we have in other seasons, which are more one-offy, which I don't always have a problem with, but I love me some story. So I think that's what really attracted me to season 6. And also, I really like Chris as a character. I grew up on X-Men, so the whole future Days of Future Past idea of him coming back, it was just an exciting season for me, and every episode was good.
Except for Wrong Day's Journey into Right. You didn't like that one.
Yeah,
That's true.
I would say season 6 for me is, I am also in the unpopular opinion group on this. I like season 6 a lot because for me, there are some classic episodes in season 6, at least for me, that there are some episodes that are like, okay, those are just classic Charms episodes, like Crisscrossed, Power of Three Blondes. And I think that, so I am a big stickler, as we know from other episodes I've been on. I love canon and I love lore. And there were a lot of plot points in this season that were added that became staples within the Charm lore that in a lot of ways changed the trajectory of Charmed. Some of those plot points did not make sense in the moment, and I love finding answers for them in my head, and you can for all of them. I'm sure we'll get to those.
Yeah.
But I felt like the girls' world expanded in season 6, as it should normally. Like at that point, they're witches for 6 years. They're really getting ingrained into the magical community, and their world expanded. Right, we're going to different places. We're learning about different aspects of the magical community. So I really like that, and also I do like Chris as a character, and I love anything that has to do with an apocalyptic future and time travel. So I really, really enjoyed, and I also enjoyed trying to figure out who Chris was. Every week it was like, more info. And I remember watching it live when it was on air, being like, who is Chris? Who is Chris? And just being really enthralled by that.
Yeah.
Your
Very
thoughts?
cool.
Yeah.
Well, this is my least favorite season.
Yeah.
Of course, it's Charmed, so there's still much to enjoy, and there are some really fun, wonderful episodes. And I am sentimental about it because it's the season that Shawn and I started podcasting together, so there is that, wonderful feeling. But while it is still watchable, like I would never skip it, I still enjoy it. There are many things that season 6 does that I find unforgivable, which I will address at the end. Shawn probably knows a bunch of them because we talked about it when we covered it. But I hate Richard. I don't even remotely enjoy Chris until Crisscrossed, because that's the way he actually becomes a character to me, is Crisscrossed. And then I like him in Dream of Phoebe and Spin City. I like him after that, but not before that. Because every time he spoke before that, I was like, ugh, you're annoying me. In some ways, season 6 is more mature than season 5, and in other ways it's sillier, so it's hard to kind of pick a mood for it.
True. Very, very true.
Part of the reason I think it's kind of goofy is because I had some sources that studied production and TV stuff, and there's talk that the reason why Drew Fuller was brought in because during season 5 Brian Krause got really bored with Leo and threatened to leave the show. So they gave him a lot. Yeah, they tried to keep Leo in there by giving him more fun stuff to do, really play with his character, which is why he's a gladiator and running from dinosaurs and being a hippie and throwing lightning and really showcasing his acting. The pacifist nature is out the window at this point, but
big time.
But Drew was brought in as a contingency in case Brian did decide to leave, so they would have another kind of character.
Interesting. Okay.
But they really had no idea what they were doing with him in the beginning, so his actions don't make at all sense. They actually didn't decide to make him Piper and Leo's son until Sword in the City, when Piper found out she was pregnant, and then she told them oh, I guess this is how we're gonna go with it.
Wow.
That makes sense. That does make sense because when he came in at the end of season 5, and he said, basically he came back to stop the Titans, and this is, the day that Paige died, and the Power of Three, died along with her. That contradicts some of his story, right? Chris's story. And then again, in my head, I was just like, well, he lied. Chris was lying just to get, make his way into their lives.
Right.
But
that's the only way it makes sense.
Exactly.
To say he was just lying. He was lying about everything he said in those episodes. He was just lying the entire time.
Yes. That's the only way. Otherwise, there's a lot of contradiction and his character doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And the whole so many times he hit on the sisters or flirted with the sisters, and it's like,
Yeah, that's creepy.
yeah. But like Drew at conventions when I met Drew, he said that he was supposed to be a love interest for Paige originally, and there's a bunch of different other options that were thrown about.
And that makes sense. I definitely can see that. And, even the way he, I think it was the end of season 5, after Paige, is no longer a statue. And I'm paraphrasing here, but the way he says hello to Paige, he's like, "Hi, Paige," and it's like very sexually charged. And it's like, what is that?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And the whole, when Phoebe goes like, "I never hit on you, did I?" I'm like, "Yes, you did. Yes, you did."
Yeah.
And even with the power of 3 blondes, he was all for like, "My little empath knows everything." Like,
Yeah.
even if he knew they weren't them, it was still kind of icky.
Right, because in his mind, he was still under the spell. So
Yeah.
technically, he would have still seen them as
Yeah.
his aunts and mother, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it is very interesting, and there were definite plot holes in this season, but I have fun trying to make them make sense.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we'll get into those, I suppose, in a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
Yep.
So I have just notes about the book, things that were stated, and notes that I made. Shawn, did you have anything before I get into them?
Well, it kind of piques my interest now that you're telling us that they didn't know at first Chris was going to be their son, because he points out in the book how there's a hint that he is the son in Valhalla of the Dolls. He says the fact that Chris says he can't heal should have clued us in that, like, he was White Lighter or something like that.
Well, you mean like half white lighter. There is that clue, yeah. But even that's still kind of stupid. That's my first note. Like, why would the elders assign Chris as the Charmed One's white lighter if he can't heal? Like, plus they have no idea who he really is. All they know is he's from the future. You'd think he'd at least have to interview or something.
Yeah.
Right. And if that was added in, this is just me thinking, just theorizing, if that was added in that, they didn't know what Chris was, what he was going to be on the back end of things, but, he didn't heal, maybe they were just going to have him not be able to heal to add tension and drama, maybe take the healing aspect away. Just theorizing.
How good will you be as a white lighter, really, if you can't do
right?
that
Right.
Like, you have one job.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Like, the elders just, like you said, they just let him become the White Lighter. Like, he just literally appeared from out of nowhere. They don't know he's from the future, but he's like, "I want to be their White Lighter now." They're like, "Cool." Leo sucks. Go do it.
Way too easy. Too easy. And you go to think, Wyatt learns to heal way young.
Wyatt's very gifted.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very gifted.
Yeah.
Feeding that inferiority complex all the time.
Always.
So that was my first note. The other one is in Valhalla of the Dolls Part 2. Leo mispronounces Freya as Freyja.
I don't love those episodes. As much as I love season 6, I just didn't really love Valhalla of the Dolls.
Yeah.
There's something. I mean, it's definitely different and shocking, and it's cool to see the tropicalities. I don't know if that's a word, but
It is now. Damn it.
I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. It's just not in my top. It's just not in my top choice of season 6 episodes.
Agreed.
Continuing with the logic, let me introduce you to this window section. In Forget Me Not, Leo said that as an elder, he's always watching over Wyatt. So, where was he when he conjured the dragon?
Yeah.
I think Piper's exact quote was, right? Wasn't her exact quote was, "Where were you? Why weren't you watching him up there on your lofty perch?"
Yeah,
something like that. She says,
Like,
"Yeah,
I don't know. I was just, hanging out."
I was jerking off.
I was just about to make that joke, Sean. You read my mind."
It's like, it's not like I've had any moments with you in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Love's a Witch, Phoebe mentions that Piper dated a warlock, a demon, and a ghost. When did she date a demon? We talked about this when we covered that episode.
Oh, that's a good question. The demon. And then who was the demon?
There's
Didn't
no
she
demon.
have a love affair with Cole behind Phoebe's back?
only in the charmed porn.
Oh,
That's it.
okay,
Only in
okay.
the charmed porn.
Yeah.
Isn't that canon?
Lots of explosions. I'm trying to think. Yeah, when did she date a demon? I can't
Nope.
Yeah.
recall her dating a demon.
Yeah. I think in the wiki too, it even mentions that. Yeah, she never dated a demon.
Yeah,
So,
off camera.
yeah. An episode that was, a lost episode.
Yeah, more lies. More lies.
Yeah. In My Three Witches, and maybe there's an explanation for this. I didn't really think much of it, but like, how does Paige's orbian allow her to split in half when she's doing the magic trick? Like, don't you think it's like all or nothing? She has orbs part of her body.
I always thought that was weird too.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That's very, very true. Maybe she... I don't know.
I
Maybe
love
she
watching
had
you
her
try to make
legs-
it work.
Yeah, I know.
That's your mission.
Why I'm up
Yeah.
all night. Yeah, my goal, my whole purpose of being is to try and make sense of charm plot holes.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay. She's like, I'm just gonna orb my midsection up there, and then the rest will
Yeah,
stay
it
here.
just stays as little particles.
It's so random. You know what? If she was in the pocket dimension, you can just attribute it to the rules of her world. So it's a fake world.
There you go.
There you go.
I like that answer.
Yeah.
Or her powers like Blink, where she can open, like her orb is like a portal, and she was like halfway in the portal, so her legs
Half
were
in,
halfway
half out.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
See, X-Men always makes sense
Season
of it.
6 had power expansions.
Yep.
That's what I
Yeah.
say because I love one of my favorite things. Like I think I said is making sense of X-Men movie plot holes, and
Oh.
I have a whole document, so I can I get
my
it.
gosh.
So,
You should check out our other podcast. We covered all the movies on that one.
I get deep. I get deep.
Just the way I like it.
Here's
Anyway.
the way
In Sword in the City, Mordaunt says that Merlin never existed, but then we had, the wizard and the wizard and I.
Wizard and I.
On this whole wicked kick. We're off to see the wizard there. But in that he said he was a hack. So, I mean, one of them could be lying. One of them, I feel like Mordaunt would probably be lying. He's like, I don't know. I don't care about Merlin.
Yeah.
Or the wizard in season 4 could have just been being sarcastic. Like, if someone would have said like, "Oh, what are you, like Harry Potter? Oh, Harry Potter's a hack." Like just sarcasm,
Yeah.
I could see that. Something about that episode too is the first time we see Paige orb something without calling for it. When she orbs the
Yes, that's in my notes.
sword.
Yeah.
Yep. Paige has a
So-
lot of power expansions in this season.
Yeah, no vocal command, and that's something that we see a lot more in the comics. But
Yep.
I think she's at like a few times in the series where she has done that too. So
Yeah. Orbiting her midsection without calling for it, orbiting a rock.
Yep.
Look at her.
also in that episode, they state that they vanquished the Source twice when it was actually 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
Charmed and Dangerous, Long Live the Queen, and Womb Raider. Yeah.
Yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
Very, very correct.
Oh, more in this episode. See, Sword in the City's got a lot of notes. Why is a muse trying to pull Excalibur, and how is she corporeal?
A lot of the creature, right? Her, who else?
Like,
Who else appeared?
Nymphs, ogres, like, I don't
Yeah.
mind them so much. They make more
True,
sense
true,
to me.
true.
But like, and there's between that and then the statement made about a muse interviewing to be a teacher in magic school in season 7. It pisses me off because I'm like, know your place, muses. You have to remain invisible and not stay anywhere too long, or you're gonna cause creative chaos. Why would you do that
and
to the
let's
world?
Not forget about the little elf nanny that was included
yeah.
in this season. Oh, you Sean says, "Aw."
We love her.
And
her.
So, Kevin, would you say you're not amused by the muses?
No.
There's a satyr
so yeah.
too, right? There's like a satyr trying to get
Yeah.
the sword. There's a lot of magical creatures that have appeared out of the enchanted realm.
Yeah. Yeah, I was only bothered by the muses. The rest can be there. I don't care about them.
Yeah.
They're good. 6'11", Witchstock. This is one of my pet peeves. It's 1967. Grimm's is 40. This is 3 years before Prue was born. I just can't fathom Graham's aging that much. I just can't.
It was a really tough 3 years for her.
It was a tough year. She wasn't happy. Yeah. No, she wasn't happy. Patty was getting with Victor. She was just very stressed. Okay, it's a lot of stress on her. They had aged the
Patty,
women.
look what you're doing to me. The wrinkles, Patty. Do you
Wrinkles.
see the wrinkles?
I can't speak. Steel-toed orthopedics, like the haircut. Patty really sent her down an aging path.
Yeah.
That's how we
Yes.
rectify that.
Okay. Also in Witchstock, how can Piper cast a spell in 1967 when you don't have your powers in the past?
Kevin, you do realize that you were going to cause me a whole existential crisis now. I'm going to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to find answers for these inconsistencies.
I know.
hope you understand this.
I'm just throwing them all out there just for you.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, after
So many
going
in
through this,
season
I
6.
hate season 6. This is the worst.
Season 6 has destroyed the show.
I mean, it's not the only season with these eras. I've been doing it for every season thus far, so it's not
Yeah.
exclusive to season 6. But
They have a lot.
this is the time. Origami is Japanese, not Chinese, because he's like, look, I'm doing origami.
It's a very Phoebe thing to say.
I like how you went from this really big concept to origami. Like, we just went all the way from up here to down here.
Yeah. They're everywhere. Paige says that she's born in the year of the ox in this episode, but we know she's actually the snake.
Mm-hmm.
The snake.
Yep.
Snack.
In Prince Charmed, the birthday fight here at the table is very similar to the one in Power Outage, but they don't lose their powers this time. Why is that?
Maybe because it was coming from a place of fun. And
Not hate.
Serious. Yeah, not hate. And also, you might say this, but I think this is where Wyatt's birthday is like wrong, or Piper's birthday is wrong. I have to double check, but I have just subscribed to there's no answer for that. That is a fuck up on the writer's part.
Piper has 2 birthhighs, and you have to believe one of them.
And you
Yes.
it's like a choose your own adventure.
You just pick one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and we've gone through this. I think I asked somebody, I forget who. I'm like, which birthday do you think believe? You know, I think I asked Jaleesa this because she played Piper in our musical. So she's like, I believe she's a Gemini because I'm a Gemini.
Good reasoning. Solid.
Yeah. All right. In The Legend of Sleepy Halliwell, Gideon suggests that he saw Paige when she was young, but we know that she was kept hidden from the elders. So how is that possible?
Blanket statement. I remember you girls when you were young, all of you.
Yes. Okay. And here's one that's very common in the show. It happens quite a bit, but in The Courtship of Wyatt's Father specifically, Leo says that elders don't drink. Yet this season alone, he drinks beers with Chris in Soul Survivor and has champagne in Witch Wars.
Yeah, well, so that's Leo for you. Just
Breaking the rules.
Breaking the rules. Just good old Leo.
It's more of a guideline.
It's a loose guideline.
Guideline.
They wanted to
Not
keep
supposed to drink.
Brian happy
Yes.
at all costs.
Yeah. Please drink.
Please drink.
Here's the thing, you know, in Spin City, he's like, oh yeah, Paige, I always come to you for money when I was a kid, and that contradicts what he said with the Titans, but we all know he's just lying. He just lied a lot.
He's a liar. He takes after Phoebe. This is a pathological liar.
In Witch Wars, how did Gideon kill Sigmund if no one can be killed at magic school?
That's another one. It's another conundrum.
Stop it.
Yeah, I'm like tweaking out over here now.
I know. I mean, there is a moment in time when those safeguards disappear, but that's only when Zanku attacks the school. So
Maybe Gideon knows a way around the rules because he runs the school.
Yeah.
he's like, I'm just gonna push this off button right here at my
Yep,
desk.
yep.
Off.
There
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
that's what he did when Sigmund was walking away. He's like, off. And then like, hiya!
yeah.
The clapper. Okay.
Whatever helps Nugent sleep at night.
Yeah, because I'm going to be up all night now, calling in sick to work tomorrow.
I only have one more. Only one more.
Okay.
All right. In It's a Bad World Part 2, when Paige calls for Leo, he says he was in the underworld. But in All Hell Breaks Loose, he says that he can't hear them when he's in the underworld. He can't hear their call.
Maybe he was, because he's an elder, his powers expanded.
Yep, I was going to go there too.
Yeah.
I have more range now. Okay.
Yeah.
Woo! Well, that was fun.
I'm sweating.
Cool. So then I had just some continuity notes. We did mention the page Orban without vocal command, the Sword in the Stone. Very fun. Also, just like Phoebe's bodyguard in My Three Witches is pretty much crap because instead of tackling the assassin, he's just like, God!
Yeah.
It's like, oh, how much do we pay you?
This is something, and you might be getting to this, but it's just on my mind right now. What are our thoughts on the cleaners?
Oh, I'm getting to that. Yes.
Oh, I knew you would.
Yeah.
I knew, because that is such a point of contention amongst fans.
Yes. In a moment. Yes. I just have to. I have a did you know moment.
Okay, I'm excited to hear it.
The dino sequences were shot at the Vasquez Rocks in Santa Clarita. That's the same place that they shot Roswell and a bunch of other things. But yeah, it's those rocks.
Oh, cool.
Now let's get into my blasphemies. I have a list of blasphemies. I have come.
You have come?
I would say I have made my peace with the cleaners because I went around in my head. But let me go over my thought process.
Same.
Okay, so in the Charmed fandom, there's lots of irkness for the cleaners because of like why weren't they there for All Hell Breaks Loose?
Correct.
And people have said that they were created as a result of that, so they weren't around then. But then they say that they watched them since they became witches, so that contradicts that theory. Then you can argue that maybe they only interfere when necessary. If the Charmed ones can't fix the exposures themselves, that's when they'll show up. But then, they show up for stupid things like market fires and such. So that's dumb. But then there's this other explanation that makes it okay in my brain. The fact that Prue was destined to die.
Yes.
It's only a little bit of assholery because from the universe, though. Because if this was always the case, why make her a Charmed one in the first place at all? But there's all these other things that probably had to happen because of that. So I consider, going back to our X-Men Marvel stuff, I consider Prue dying an absolute point in time, like a necessary part of the universe. And that's the only reason why it works now for me. And that would make sense why the cleaners wouldn't intervene, because this is something that has to happen.
I do love me some Charm reboot, and I do consider that universe 2 canon,
Okay.
and that introduced the fact that basically the very first Charm ones ever that hailed from that universe basically caused a curse throughout the Power of 3, and anybody who's charmed will at some point be destined to die, right? So that means Prue was always destined to die. And then you can think of Paige as almost like a scapegoat that maybe the Angels of Destiny configured, right? Mm-hmm. So there's that. So I kind of, for Prue dying, that's how I see it in my head. But also, I do tend to lean towards the cleaners only get involved when they or Angels of Destiny foresee absolutely no other out
Mm-hmm.
at all whatsoever. So in the case of Prue dying, Tempest was still existing, Tempest was still alive, so that was a scapegoat. That was a way for them to get out of it, regardless of what the outcome of that would be. Wyatt's dragon was too widespread. Them going on the news and using their powers to get the cleaners' attention, too widespread. And yeah, so that's kind of my loose explanations.
Yeah. So, and I think it makes the comics even more powerful because of that. We have this whole Prue having turmoil about why did she had to sacrifice so much, and the whole reason for everything, and that makes it so many chills. Yay, season 10.
Yeah.
Yay, season 10, my absolute favorite.
So good. So yeah, I've made my peace with the cleaners, even though I still hate them and I don't like them. I'm gonna just not like them at all, but I get it.
I made my peace with them too. I have a bigger issue with another season 6 plot point, which I'm sure you will get to.
Okay. Another thing I hate about season 6 is the way they mistreat Daryl this season, especially.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Bad.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they steal his soul without his permission. Paige casts the invincibility spell on him, but then doesn't stick around to see if he ran into problems and then forgets about him.
Yeah.
The whole execution scare, too, and even though they weren't not directly responsible, they could have at least apologized for getting him in that situation.
Yeah. They're kind of like, why are you pissed off, Daryl? Like, get over it. Like,
Yeah.
you're fine. It was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pussy. Like,
Yeah, right. So that's the other one. Lastly, number 3. Witch stock. We talked about my witch stock. I don't like it. It just fucks with my brain. But I do love the episode. I think it's a very fun episode and it's very entertaining. It just doesn't figure. I wish they would have got Finola. Oh, yeah, if only had Finola. It would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing in that episode that I'm kind of like, I don't love Daryl playing his father. It's a little hokey. Like, it's not like, that's obviously not like a reincarnation thing or anything like that, right? Like,
Right.
we've seen in past episodes, that was supposed to be, I guess, like a gag. And I was just kind of like, it's a little hokey. It's a little like sitcom-y, but
Yeah.
that would be my gripe with that episode.
Blasphemy number 4. Magic School.
There it is. That's my
I
number
knew
one.
it.
That is my number
Magic
one.
School. I can't. I hate it so much. I hate Magic School so much.
I hate Magic School. So I have my cousin's watching Charm right now, and he's on season 8, and he had similar questions about the cleaners when he got to it because he's been watching everything back to back.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't wait for you to get to 9 and 10. And I said, because funny enough, he didn't actually mind Magic School, but I was like hinting. I was like, there's this big plot point in season 6 that I hated. I said, but the comics for me made me end up liking, not minding Magic School. Because I feel like what Paul and Pat did was they normalized Magic School within the world of Charmed, and it felt like it's like a natural part of the Charmed universe. But I feel like throughout the series from 6 on, between 6 and 8, Magic School was just kind of like, why are you here? Like, why are you here? Just go away, Like, it was just like, I don't like you. But that was my number one gripe. And I think, like, I always say this, you could have a pile of shit and draw a Triquetra on it, and I'd be like, yes. if you just say my only gripe with Charm, if I had to pick one, would be Magic School. And I said, like, Charm can get away with a lot, and I love it. And I'm like, yeah, I love it. Magic School, that is a hill I will die on. But thanks to Pat and Paul, I'm like, okay, Magic School. It's just another part of Charm.
You should read the Magic School manga. It's like so good. It'll make
I
you love
did.
it.
Oh, I did. I did.
We broke it down into like 3 sections because so we had to suffer that for 3 weeks in a row. It was great.
It was so not good.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
It's cringy.
I hated that. I hated that.
And I had Katie Rex liking my stuff and like oh, I'm promoting it and stuff, but I hope she didn't listen because we really trashed it.
Yeah. Magic School to me just felt like a Harry Potter ripoff. It had no purpose other than like, oh, Harry Potter's popular. Let's make money off that.
It does feel very thrown in randomly without any like thought behind it.
Yes, I think.
But you're right. In the comics, I didn't mind it.
No, it didn't. Like they did a
So-
really good job of making it, like I said, feel natural to the world. Like you got Magic School, you got the attic, you got the house. Like they did a really good job with that. And I think because Pat and Paul didn't rely on it so much. Like they kept the girls in the house. The Magic School was it. It was what it was supposed to be, a school for teaching younger generations. It was Magic School. Like that's a place to send Leo and the kids. We got to get them out of the storyline, and that's it. You know, and it just kind of faded into the background. But season 6, season 7, and season 8, I guess you could say, really made it a central place in the Charmed universe. It became the new attic.
Yeah. I feel like I had less problems with Magic School than I did with that fucking fairy tales in season 5. Like, why are you just throwing that in?
Blasphemy number 5. Removing Phoebe's powers for personal gain, and then having Paige make a sex toy the very next episode.
Yeah.
Great point. Great point.
Like, wow, how insensitive, Paige.
Great point you make.
Well, a sex toy benefits everybody because it puts her in a better mood and she's ready to help.
I was going to Shawn, you and I are like this today because I was going to say the same thing. Okay? She can't vanquish demons if she's pent up.
Right.
You know? She needs to clear her blockages. So,
Yeah.
that's what she did.
Yeah. It's just sad. It's like, oh, Phoebe's powers are too expensive, even though they're lame now. Like, it's so sad to me.
Yeah. It could have been better reasoning.
But yeah.
Mm.
And the ultimate blasphemy of them all, Shawn knows what it is. I hate it so much. The doors.
The doors.
Why the hospital doors? No.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I agree. I agree.
It's like, you can't cheat. It has to be the manor doors. You could have easily gone back at the end of the episode and had the manor's door closed. Just come on.
Oh, easily. I don't. Yeah. I mean, you could have even done something really cool where, like, after all of this, they could have even, like, flashed forward into the future, and you saw, like, the future again now, after Crisscrossed, after all these episodes, after things have been saved, flash forward into the future, and it's Wyatt and Chris, and they're obviously it's not apocalyptic, and, like, they close the door together. Like, that would have been fun, or something like that. Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot
right.
they could have done to really bookend it, but instead we chose the weird hospital doors closing.
Yeah.
Somewhere, like, this guy, Gary Hollander, he's really upset because that was his one contribution to, like, the writing. He's like, what if we make it the hospital doors? And now you guys are shitting all over Gary Hollander and his one idea.
I am forever and ever, amen. Like, that was the worst choice you could have possibly made.
Yeah, almost worse than Magic School. Almost.
Almost, yeah.
Almost.
Actually, for me, it is worse. Just because I can't.
I know.
It's the only season. It's the only season that changes it.
I know. Like, I'm big on consistency, and it does. Yeah, no. Maybe I hate season 6.
See, that's what I'm saying.
What have you done?
I think changed my mind.
All right, so let's go to put that in my canonical hat.
Canonical.
And this is things that I had disagreeing with what Keith said in the book. So in Love's a Witch, Keith wonders how witches can throw energy balls and why the pillow levitates with Phoebe. We actually got to explore that on our power play during the comics episodes. Energy balls are not actually a demonic power, but a neutral power that any alignment can possess by manifesting their own energy. I think they're often associated with evil because the trigger is possibly anger. But
love that.
we do see the Montana family use it. The
Yep.
Callaway.
We see
the Callaway
Leo
family.
use it. We see Leo use it in season 3. When
yes, and Leo, Whitelight, and Natalie as well. They have a little bit of
Yeah.
a little energy ball themselves. Although that I can attribute to their photokinesis power, their light power.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a manifestation of that. And then Phoebe's power allows her to levitate objects that she's in contact with, and a lot of people don't really understand this. So if she's touching something, it can levitate with her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the pillow levitates with her. So take that, Keith.
I hate Keith.
This one bothers me because in Soul Survivor, Keith wonders how Phoebe can send an energy ball flying back, but they tell you in that episode that's a result of her empathy. They tell you that. Like, whether you agree that it should be her empathy power or not, they tell you point blank what it is.
Yeah, I think that's made pretty clear.
Yeah. So it's like, were you watching the show? Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna read this. Keith says that the spell Chris casts to go back in time is as follows. I call upon the ancient power to help us in this darkest hour. Let the book return to this place, claim refuge in its rightful space. That's the spell to summon the book to its spot. Come on.
Correct.
That is not the go back in time spell.
Correct. Something from that episode too. If Wyatt was able to create, when I just rewatched that episode a few weeks ago, if Wyatt was able to create a new spell to send Bianca back in time, why does Chris stealing the spell? Because Bianca, as she's dying, she's like, "Take the spell so we can't send anybody else back." Yeah. Why can't he just create another spell?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I mean, we write spells all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's blocked because he hasn't come in a long time. And he just doesn't have that release.
Yeah, he doesn't have Paige's Mr. Right spell.
But yeah, we actually used the one to go back in time for the musical. That was like the first half of the spell Chris cast, Little Chris, in our musical. So
I love that spell.
Yeah, it's good. It's very reminiscent of, the Morality Bites spell, and it's really great.
My fave.
Also in Crisscross, Keith says that the phoenix mentioned in Bite Me refers to the phoenix witches shown here. I don't agree, because she says Phoenix flies but doesn't bite. These Phoenix witches do not fly. I think they're
bite.
Completely separate entity.
Maybe they bite.
So, right. Yeah, I think the Phoenix that she was looking at was actually the creature Phoenix, not the Phoenix witches.
Agreed.
So, also, whenever in season 4 he says that they said fight instead of bite, and that pissed me off. Like, really? That's what you think they're saying, fight? And like, do you know what the name of this episode is called? Also, he incorrectly calls Morality Bites Mortality Bites twice.
Oh no!
It's like, why?
Why? It's right there on the wiki. My God.
Yeah. I went to check back in season 2 if he got the name right in season 2. It is right in season 2, but right in these later ones, or maybe the editor's like, I know what this is supposed to be, or something like.
Hate it.
Yeah. I Dream of Phoebe. Keith thinks that Piper should have automatically been dead after the wish, and that Leo shouldn't have been able to heal her. See, but he forgets that genies are tricksters, so I believe Richard only removed them from the physical plane as a ghost, didn't say anything about them moving on, and because she was still, close by, he was allowed to heal her.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Ta-da. I guess that's all I got for that. Yay!
Yay!
All right, should we play a trivia game for season 6?
What is this, some kind of game?
Grimoire Games!
Some people think this is entertainment.
Love trivia.
I think it's really easy.
Do it.
The only way to get to Valhalla was with which piece of jewelry belonging to a Valkyrie?
The pendant.
Pendant. I'm not even giving you the multiple choice because it's so easy. Who was the last to leave Valhalla? I can give you choices if you want.
Yes, please.
All right. Piper, Phoebe, Leo, or Paige?
The last to leave Valhalla.
I'm gonna say Phoebe.
Oh my God. I'm gonna say Leo. Did he go back? I'm trying to remember. Did he go back to see what was like going on there? Like who sent him?
It was actually Piper, because remember the three of them left and Piper stayed behind with the Valkyries?
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
that's right.
yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I overthought the question.
All right. Which San Francisco landmark did Piper make disappear to deliberately expose her magic?
The bridge.
Wasn't it? The
Golden Gate
bridge, yeah.
Yeah. Might want to find an alternate way to work in the morning.
Yes.
In The Power of Three Blondes, which magical creatures did the Charmed Ones use to alert Chris that they were in danger?
Oh, I know.
Dwarves, goblins, gremlins, or leprechauns?
Wasn't it leprechauns?
Gremlins.
Oh, gremlins.
It was gremlins. Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I hate this
Little
quiz.
dude, little...
What potion did Chris manage to obtain? The dark letter blocking potion, the white letter blocking potion, the elder blocking potion, or the empath blocking potion?
The empathy
Empath.
blocking. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. With the cotochal egg. I always remember that ingredient.
I love it when you talk dirty.
What emotion did the demon that wanted to kill the Charmed Ones feed off in My Three Witches? Pity, anger, desire, or despair?
I know.
Wait.
I think
I know this. Desire.
Desire, yeah.
desire. Mm-hmm.
Don't they have like the subtitle "My Dirty Desires" or whatever?
Oh, the
Oh,
promos, the WB
I know.
promos as the series.
Yeah, especially
went
this
on,
season too, were terrible. Like so.
Everything
sexual.
was like so sexualized. Everything was so sexualized.
Dirty Blondes, Midnight Rendezvous.
Yeah.
Oh. Hot Mamas.
Yeah.
When Leo and Chris go through the time portal, where do they end up? The Middle Ages, 18th century France, ancient Rome, or the Jurassic period?
Jurassic.
Yeah, you got the dinosaur. Who pulled the sword out of the stone?
Oh.
Piper.
Yeah.
Peeper.
What was the name of the guy who was the father of Little Half Manticore? Boris, Derek,
Oh, God.
Ron, or Mark?
Oh God, it's Sean, do you know? I'm between two. I'm between Derek and Mark.
I'm gonna say Mark. That rang a bell.
Mark rang a bell.
It's actually Derek, yeah.
I didn't say what bell it rang. It just rang a bell.
Same.
He's just thinking of John's show. You're fine. When we get the first glimpse of Chris's future world, it is ruled by whom? Chris himself, Bianca, Leo, or Wyatt?
Wyatt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way. Which year did the Charmed Ones travel to and which stock? I talked about it earlier. I said it.
You said it. 1967.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. What was the name of the perfect guy Phoebe and Paige conjured up for Piper?
Mr. Right?
Mr. Right?
Paul, Richard, Mitch, or David?
Oh.
Oh, it's David.
David.
Yeah.
It's
David.
Mark.
Whose bad karma was Phoebe possessed with? Marie Antoinette, Jeanne d'Arc, Joan of Arc, Napoleon, or Mata Hari?
Mata Hari. I know this one.
Yes. Who was the first to discover Chris's true identity?
Wasn't it
Yeah.
Paige?
Phoebe.
Oh, Phoebe.
No, it's Phoebe. Yeah. It's funny, when I quizzed you on it, on our season 6 quiz, you said the same thing. So
At least I'm consistent.
you are consistent. And it's weird that I remember that, but I do. Adrian Phoebe, what was the name of the genie Phoebe exchanged places with?
Ginny.
Ginny. Yes. Ginny the genie. In high school reunion, who learns that she will die young?
Oh, I know.
Mark.
Do you want the options? Piper, yes. It's like Chris is like, she dies when I'm 14 years old.
Side note, do we think, I always in my mind thought that meant, like, since I created my own, like, future canon, he said, Chris says that Piper dies on his 14th birthday, right? I always envisioned it was, like, Wyatt who did it. Like, he was, like, being a brat. Like, maybe Chris got something, like a gift that he
my.
wanted, and he just, like, snapped and killed his mother.
Oh my god.
That's so
Dark, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, it
I always
ties into my
envisioned it.
musical even more because Wyatt was such a brat in my musicals. I'm like, oh my god.
Wyatt's a
I feel so
brat.
honored.
Wyatt's a brat.
Kevin, can you not invite him back? Like, that was really dark.
It just took a really dark turn.
Who turns into Spider-Man?
Oh, Spider-Man. Oh,
Wait, what was the question?
Who turns into Spider-Man?
Oh, Chris.
Chris.
Chris, yeah. Who is stripped of their powers in Crimes and Witch Demeanors?
Febois.
Febois, yeah.
Wow, Phoebe.
What is Barbas in the parallel world? Ooh, this is
Oh.
actually wrong.
What are the options?
It says Angel of Friendship, Angel of Trust, Angel of Hope, Angel of Love. It's not Angel of Hope, it's Demon of Hope.
Demon of Hope.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I just gave it to you.
Yeah.
You were
Like,
so
they're not
mad.
angels. And what did Leo do to make the world go back to normal? Killed Gideon, killed his evil self, killed Barbas, sacrificed Chris. Oh!
Oh, wow.
That got dark.
Yeah, did Nugent write the last one?
Yeah. I'm gonna say, Sean, do you want to take it?
Well, I do, but what's the question?
What did Leo do to revert the worlds back to normal in the it's a bad world?
What did he do? I know, like, he kind of made a deal with, like, his evil self, and they both, like, shut the world, but I don't remember what else he did.
Yeah, who did he kill? It's like, who did he kill? Pretty much asking.
I don't remember.
Shall I take it? I know. I feel like Hermione Granger right now. Like, pick me, pick me. Killed Gideon.
Killed Gideon, yeah.
Oh.
Remember? It's like,
What
oh,
is
what are
that?
you doing? A great evil. Ugh.
Yeah.
Lightning.
That makes sense.
And that's my quiz. Yay!
Yay!
Grimoire game.
Yay.
All right, so the final thing I have is the P is for poll for next week.
Piper.
You mean it's just you and Prue, huh?
Phoebe? Phoebe, you there?
And a big hello to you too, Penny.
Come on, Patty. The rest is up to them.
Paige. My name is Paige.
Another P, imagine that.
P is for Pole.
And this question is the best baddie of season 6. Ooh, best baddie of season 6. And your choices are Stillman Sisters, Gith, the Spider Demon, or Gideon.
Do we answer?
You can answer, yeah.
I'm going to say it's between the Spider Demon and the Stillman sisters. I never really liked Gideon as a bad guy. Or just like as a villain in general. And I thought the
Yeah.
Spider Demon it felt like a throwback to earlier seasons. Like you had a very specific demon with specific powers, and I just liked her as a demon. And I thought the Stillman sisters were slutty and fun. So
I like the Stillman sisters for the same reason I like you, Kevin. They're slutty and fun.
Oh, thank you. I'll take it. And I do. Yeah, I feel like the Stillman Sisters are going to be a clear winner in this poll. But I do want to shout out Gith, too, because I think he is very underrated with his vortex powers and his creating universe, pocket dimension powers. He could have been a really horrible foe for them.
Yeah, you're right. They could have done a lot with him, actually,
Yeah.
and expanded that storyline.
Mm-hmm. Make it a two-parter.
Make it a
Yeah.
two-parter. Make it a
know.
two-parter.
I guess I'll say Stillman Sisters, too, just because they are a joy to watch. Okay.
Jenny McCarthy, hello.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 questions. With the Stillman sisters, when they, obviously, Mabel, right? Was that who got Paige's? And she didn't get
Margot.
Margot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mitzi,
Mabel was Piper.
Mabel, right? The Paige one, Margot, right? And she didn't get the orbing power, but do we think she got telekinesis in
Yes.
general, though?
Yes.
We do. So do I.
We do. because of those doors that close. We don't actually see her
Yes.
use it, but those doors that close, that's proof that she has the telekinesis.
Yes, that's what I think. That's what I think too.
Mhm.
And how do we feel about the alternate world, the darker worlds, that whole storyline?
I think it's okay. It's not the greatest.
It's not the greatest. I would have liked to have seen inside the manor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like, are all the
remember
walls
Leo's
black
hair.
from their smoking?
I could have done without Slutty P3
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Stripper Sheridan.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I blocked it from my memory.
Shawn, I think we hate season 6.
I think we do too. Thank you for enlightening us.
All
Kevin.
right.
Yes.
You're welcome.
We were both like blase da on the opening 2 episodes and the closing 2 episodes, and like everything in between we liked.
Yeah, for the most part, except for the cleaners and magic school and a Wrong Day's Journey into Right and
Everything that makes the season 6.
Yeah, I brought it all to light. You're welcome.
like, I'm questioning who I am now.
Yeah, because for me, like, even though it's a fun season, there's too many like ticks in the box. That's why like it has to, like, season 8. People always complain about season 8, but I think it's a pretty fair season. So
Oh, I love season 8. Like, I think it's one of my favorites actually. 'Cause I feel like it was a return to form in a lot of ways, and it was because they were on a lower budget, so things were a bit more simple. Simpler. I don't know, but it was. And also they like magic school was also like evil, so we weren't always running to magic school, and it was,
yeah.
But oh my god, I'm rethinking season 6 now all over again. This is very bad. That's also the spell. Let's get him the truck out of here. It was a little hokey. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts.
Fun.
Yeah. 10
On
out of
that
10.
note, where can we find you, Nugent? Where can they follow you and watch your stuff?
Oh, you could find me on Instagram, NJC3, but the 3 is written out, so it's NJCTHREE. Or people can find me on Facebook. Even though I don't really use it that much anymore. It's Nugent Cantolino, and I'm trying to do more on TikTok. Same NJC3, but we'll see how that goes. Follow
Okay,
my Ruby
Shawn?
Slipper journey.
Ruby Slipper Journey.
You can find me on Sean Perrette on Instagram. That'll link you to everything else, my book, my other projects. Also trying to do more on TikTok, but I sometimes don't like it. And yeah, back to you, Kevin.
Yeah. Kevin, where are you?
Kevin,
He went into the void. He went to magic school.
Yeah.
He orbed to magic school.
He was like, I made them hate season 6. I'm out.
Yeah, he was like, my job is done. We've been converted. You're back!
All right, I'm back. I was like, of course now it's freaking out.
Yeah.
Did you say your piece, Shawn?
I did.
Yeah, and you can follow this podcast at Words of the Witches, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Email wordsofwitchespod@gmail.com if you feel like it. And next week we'll be talking season 7. Yay, spell worders. Thanks for listening. Your destiny still awaits.
Hospital doors closed.
Best ending ever.
Yeah.